Hey everybody, welcome to Live at 0BPM again. It's great to have everybody here. We're excited for the Jazz Roundtable number 2, and we got a really great audience. Before we get into that, I just want to let you know if you care to tip, we're all tip funded, so that's live at ZEROBPM .com/tip jar. And if you want to, you can tip up to any time you want. You can hear this down the road. If you're watching an archive, you're listening to the podcast, that'd be great. You can also tip on Venmo at ZEROBPM. I'll flash that stuff up on the screen a little bit, and it's in the descriptions on both YouTube and Facebook. So let me bring the guys in here. And before we do that, I always forget. Please like the video. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, like and subscribe or follow and do that stuff. That really helps us out, build a following. We want to keep this growing so more musicians can be exposed. But let me bring the guys on here. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome, and we killer lineup, and I think you all know the order that I place these people are the order that I got them to say yes to coming on the show. So I don't do it alphabetical or by height or anything like that. So Joey De Leon, percussionist. Hey, Joey.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having us.
Sure, and Oscar Hernandez.
Yay! Glad to be with you, Billy.
Just talking about baseball. And then Renee Camacho.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Cool. So thanks for coming out. You guys actually played together here for the live show on a Thursday night a couple of months ago. I'll play a clip from that later. But one of the things we like to start with each show is I want to know, and the people want to know, when it's music time for you, what are you working on these days? Let's start with you, Joey.
Well, first of all, good evening, everybody. I I've been having this crazy dream about writing stuff for the past year and a half, especially. The pandemic surely has expedited those thoughts into my head and creeped more, but I found myself a little bit short in terms of knowledge and what I needed to do to kind of expand my horizons. So I started taking some theory lessons and some jazz harmony just to help kind of make my thoughts a little bit more accessible to what I want to hear. And so I'm just drawing from experiences, man. That's basically it. Things that have happened to me, I'm as they happen, I'm getting inspired. It's a different world today, and certainly I needed that.
And now, when you're learning the theory and all that, are you actualizing it on a piano or an instrument?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What are you using?
I have a keyboard. It's electronic, but it's hard, heavy weighted keys, and
Nice.
so it's really simple, but it's 88 keys, and it's doing everything I need for it to do, so I can apply myself, basically.
That's cool. Let me get back over here to the four wall. The trouble of running this all by yourself. Here we go. So let's go to Oscar. And Oscar, what are you working on these days?
Well, I've been keeping myself busy arranging and composing. Doing. I've actually prepared 2 records worth of arrangements. The next Spanish Harlem Orchestra CD is already prepared. I'll be in New York in 2 weeks, actually doing the first rehearsal for that music. Also preparing the music for my quintet CD, which I'll be recording here on May 6th and 7th.
Oh, who's in that group?
So really excited about that. But what I've really been doing the last month is I've been doing my first long distance production. Basically, sending out the music to all the musicians that are my friends and are great musicians, and they're sending it back to me. I have my engineer, who's Jimmy Brownlee, who you know. He's putting it together, and it sounds amazing. And all the music is finished. I'll be in New York actually doing the vocals on that. But, the most gratifying thing for me is the fact that I'm able to do that. I would have never thought of doing something like that if not for the pandemic. So there you go.
So what long distance producing, you're writing everything, but you're going to go out there to actually do the recordings with them?
No, the recording's done.
Oh, okay.
The tracks are done. I'm going to New York because the vocalist is in New York.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing the background vocals and the lead vocals in New York. And but the basic tracks are all done. All the horns, the rhythm section, the horn section, the arrangements have been done and recorded. I'll just be doing the vocals in New York. So, like I said, the amazing thing is it sounds incredible. I mean,
That's great. And you mentioned the quintet that's recording out here. Who's in that quintet?
the quintet is Jimmy Brantley on drums, Oscar Caltaya on bass, Justo Almario on sax, Christian Moraga on percussion, myself on piano, and I'm using a guest trumpet player as on a few of the songs. A gentleman by the name of Aaron Janik, who's a pretty great player.
So is that the same group that I saw on Catalina's, the live stream you did from there?
Yes, actually,
Okay.
that's the same group. Yeah.
Cool. I'll try to find a link to that and put it in the show notes so people can see that whole concert.
Awesome.
It was really well done. So that's very cool. And I guess that now brings us to Renee, who is not remote today. He's actually in the studio.
Yeah.
Due to some computer issues, I just thought, well, let's put him in the room. Fans of the show will know that that's the live room they all play in. But Renee came down, and how are you today, Renee?
Doing well. Thank you for having me here.
Sure. Now, when it's music time for you, what are you doing? Do you do warm-ups? What kind of stuff are you working on?
Well, lately I haven't had much time to do warm-ups and kind of the usual routine, pre-pandemic. But lately I've been recording remotely from home and just prepare, for whatever comes in. And that's kind of been the daily routine lately, till we get back to some sort of normalcy.
Right. I imagine for all of you, and for a lot of people, this pandemic time has been a good time to learn the digital audio workstations for everybody.
Oh, most definitely.
It's a whole other job, other instrument, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a challenge for
Crazy.
me to learn Logic and how to, apply that to all the stuff that I'm doing. But I've been fortunate to always have, good engineers and good people that I work with. But now it's incumbent on me, so it's certainly different.
Yeah, it's. Are you guys all three of you using Logic?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
very cool. So, hey, before we go on, because we're going to get to some playing, but I want to play a little clip from when you guys were here. I'm just going to play a touch of this, and I'll put the link to the full show in the show notes as well. But this is a piece that Oscar wrote called ESPN Blues.
Cool.
All right. I hate to cut that short because it's such a ripping solo.
Yeah,
But,
cool.
yeah, well, I got to
Slamming.
turn my applause
Oh,
machine
yeah.
on. But yeah, that's the that was ESPN Blues, and you guys did a whole night. It was smoking. That was a great night. So I'll put that link up. But let's go to Joey. Let's do some playing. I want to hear you. What are you going to do for us today?
I don't know. I'm just gonna do it.
All right, that's the
Yeah,
best.
I'm just. It'll be a medley of stuff. So here we go.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Gotta go.
Yeah, I have to repatch my hand claps in, so I'll do that. And it'll be fun.
Yeah, what happened there? Come on,
Oh man,
man.
I'm doing a whole new system thing because Renee's in the other room. But I will do that for the next piece. I will busily patch that. I'm also talking to people in the chat rooms, and a couple of quick comments. Anthony says greetings from Puerto Rico. He said it in Spanish, but I'm not going to. My pronunciation
Do it.
still
Do
isn't-
it.
Okay, let me see if I can get this. Saludos desde Fajardo, Puerto Rico.
Maya.
Vaya
there you
Fajardo.
go.
Paya Fajardo.
Nice, bro.
Anthony
Okay.
Rivas.
I'm working on it.
That was
then
good.
A lot of the regulars are here. Of course, Phil and Toby are here, and so is Rochelle, who's with new for pretty recently. Say hi to that. And Anthony Rivas and Micah Miller is here. She says El Macho. So I know what that means. But Brad Bennett, he
it
also
means
has,
Joey.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Brad Bennett says clean and smooth, and David Anderson is listening, and let's see.
Yeah, David.
Rochelle says she loves it, and we got a lot of people. You know, if you're out there watching and you're in one of the rooms, don't be shy. Tell us where you're watching from. Just say if you don't like to chat, just type in the city you're watching from because we like to know. Anthony Boncera is here. He says, "Nice one, Joe."
Thank you,
I think he
Tony.
meant Joey, but I'm not sure.
It's okay.
Anthony
We're-
has been on the show, and hopefully we'll have him back. And Talia.
And ask us what you want. Take advantage.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, I do have a thing in the notes. You can actually fill out a form and go to that. But you just put it in the chat rooms, and if I can read it, I'll get to it. But let's move on over to no, Joey. You said you were that percussion. You told me you were working on kind of a new maybe recording project down the line. And
Yeah.
just everything is on the table. You said is going to be something like what you just played, or are you working on compositions of other types? Or do
You know, it's gonna, my background is a great many different things. I went to school, I majored in classical music. I'd like to incorporate that part of my life into the forthcoming future, and so I'm looking at implementing those characteristics, and in addition to what I grew up with, the roots.
Now you're also working on 2 recording projects right now. You did a recent recording. That was the,
right. Yeah.
tell us about that. The mixture of Tejano rock and everything.
Well, the Tejano rock is something that is currently in the works. I'm working with a guy named Juan Perez, along with another gentleman that you guys might know in town named Quetzal Flores, has a group called Quetzal. And so we're at the very early stages, at the very beginning, embryonic stages of it, writing and stuff like that. So we're working on putting something together, and look for something in the future, hopefully late this year.
Can you tell the folks out there what exactly is Tejano rock?
Well, Tejano rock is, it's just, the elements of Mexican music that's coming basically with the strong influence of the Texas roots, and implementing it, combining it with the music of what I do, the Afro-Cuban music, the Afro-Puerto Rican stuff, incorporating it. It's still like a work in progress because it's a lot of experimenting, and so since the pandemic is still here, we still have to be cautious about getting together. So we're just running ideas and dredging them out and see what we can do before we
and
really get
the other
together.
one you said was the Echo Park project you're working on.
Oh, the Echo Park project is a project with that I work with a gentleman named Carlo Lopez, who's also a percussionist here in town, a great friend, and I actually learned a lot from him in terms of the engineering process too. He kind of gave me a lot of really important tips early on. And so the project that he's doing right now, it should be out shortly, but it's a Latin jazz project, which is something that is a new endeavor for him. He's usually done more salsa dance music. And so this time wanted to do something different. Hired a gentleman that is a very famous musician from the group Típica 73 named Joe Manazzi to arrange and compose some of these tunes. So it's coming from a really deep place, very New York street oriented, with a grit on it, but definitely palatable for everyone.
Okay, cool. So let's go. Now, Oscar, we're going to go to you right now. And you told us about the 2 projects you've got coming up, and I'm going to play. You did a lot during the pandemic, the remote recording thing. And I have 2 clips. I'm going to show one of them right now. But the first one, you called it your music response. Oh, wait. The first one, the music response to COVID-19. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, early on when the pandemic hit, I was kind of at a loss as to, what was happening. And my response to it was to sit down and try to make something happen musically. And what I know how to do is arrange and compose. So I decided to compose this song and then send it out to great friends of mine, and asked them to record from home. People, when they first saw it, because it was early on during the pandemic, so they thought that we recorded together remotely, which is impossible. I mean, at that time it was impossible. Maybe it's more feasible now, but this is my take on an original song that I wrote called Ritmo Dia, and it features half band in New York and half the band in LA.
Cool.
Features, should I mention the musicians really quickly?
Yeah.
In LA, myself, Oscar Caltaya on bass, Jimmy Brantley on drums, and in New York, the horn players were Jonathan Powell, Bobby Franceschini, and the percussion was Luisito Quintero and Robert Quintero.
Okay, I'm going to play
great musicians all.
a minute or 2 of this so people can get a vibe.
Right
Again,
ahead.
all these links will be in the show notes on the podcast blog and everything, so you guys will watch the full videos. But here we go. Well, I'm
Oh,
not gonna
very
lie,
nice.
when you sent me that video, I think I watched it like
That's very
5
nice.
times through. But
Yeah,
post that
I
link.
mean, it was my answer at that time to trying to create something because I was at a loss. I mean, all my work, we had a tour of Europe coming up, got canceled. We had all these dates with my own band, which is Spanish Harlem Orchestra, and I seen all the dates go by the wayside. So, I got to doing what I do, which is arranging and composing and getting together with great musicians such as these gentlemen that we have on today were my friends and great musicians.
Cool. Well, would you like to play a little piano for us right now?
Sure.
They decided to show up. They're
Got-
a little late coming in. We start on time, and most crowds
That's
they take
a-
a few minutes.
That's
But,
a little Latin jazz version.
tip
of,
jar just went
of
up.
Standard.
Tip charges went up, so everybody popped in, and
Put up 1,000%.
yeah. So another one of our
A
regulars,
little,
Chris
little
Stark.
Latin
is-
jazz version of Green Dolphin Street.
Yes. Who wrote that song? Do we know?
I forgot the. Geez.
I have a real book
Renee would
somewhere. I'll
know,
look it
Renee.
up.
I don't remember. I was trying to remember right now when you were playing.
Yeah, very cool. So, but I just want to say thank you. Chris Stark has tipped, and he's one of our regulars. And I think with the time change, he's able to watch us again. He's in Hawaii. We were on regular standard
wow.
time. It was
Awesome.
kind of confusing, but and got a lot of comments in the window. But let's just say Brad and Melissa are watching from Alhambra. Kerry Frank is here. He's got a question
right on.
to Joey. He's got a question for Joey to explain for us when we get back around to him. But Rochelle is in Vallejo. My Fred is in Minnesota. And, it's great. I love to see the places where, everybody's from. So let's go on. Renee.
Yeah.
Let me get you up here.
All right.
So we were talking the other day about, because one of the reasons I wanted to have these guys on is because they're all like amazing Latin jazz players, but that's not all they do. In a town like LA where all the greats play everything, but guys can kind of get, known for a specific style or anything. But what we were talking the other day, you were telling me about some of your, your credits, and tell us who you're playing with now, you tour with now.
Okay, so basically I switch around between 3 bands. The first band, the main group that I've been touring a lot with the last 5.5 years is the group War from the 70s. And we tour quite a bit during the year, usually anywhere between 80 and 100 dates a year. So we're gone quite a bit. And then I'm also working with Kevin Eubanks. For those who don't know, he was the guitarist and the musical director for Tonight Show with Jay Leno. And he has a phenomenal quartet that we go out and do gigs every once in a while, play Birdland, Blues Alley when it was there. Unfortunately, they just went down.
So sad.
Yeah. And then the third group, and it's actually a Puerto Rican artist. He's a singer. His name is Draco Rosa. And he is famous for not only his music, but he wrote the pretty much all the hits for Ricky Martin. Living La Vida Loca, She Bangs, Maria, Couple Life. Those are all his pen charts.
You've also toured with people like Ry Cooder and talk about changing gears, and then Sergio Mendes on the Brazilian side, and Pancho
Right.
Sanchez for the Latin jazz, and this Larry Carlton back to the kind of fusion stuff. It's
Sure.
That's some pretty great stuff. But you brought your baby bass with you today.
Right, right. So basically, what I wanted to show, a lot of people ask me all the time, what is my purpose in Latin and Latin jazz music? And basically, what I do is what is called a tumbao. That's my rhythm, my groove. And so I'm gonna show a couple of famous grooves, tumbaos, and kind of incorporate my own in between. The first one is made famous by Cachao, Cuban bass player. He recorded this sometime in the 50s. It was originally from a piece that he wrote called Descarga Cubana, but it's people now know it as Descarga Cachao. And also there was a real famous another groove that was recorded by Tito Puente in the 50s as well, and it's called Timonbo. And that's two staples that bass players usually know, and they play for what we call descargas.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so just a few examples of tumbao and what you can do with it.
Yeah, anybody that knows
Love that
music
stuff.
knows that. Especially those are very famous tumbaos from
Sure.
these percussion groups. You know,
Right.
they would play that and then bongo, conga, timbale solos. It's very
Exactly.
cool. So, that's very cool. So I think I'm wondering if it's time. Let's just check the old. Oh, yeah, it's time. This is a fan favorite. You know what it's time for, right?
Conversations in Music.
Yeah,
We're
buddy.
gonna give that graphic a.
That needs a
facelift.
Grammy. That needs Grammy consideration.
I was thinking Oscar.
Oski.
Well, I'm going to update that for April. I promise.
No,
You've
leave
heard
it,
me
leave
say
it,
it
leave
here,
it.
and if I don't, you guys can come at me. But,
Leave it. Leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so we're
classic.
going to get it. It's time for Conversations in Music, and this is where the guys get to have a little talk with each other. And Joey, you want to kick it off?
Yeah. Well, basically, I think there was a question pertaining to about I think Carrie Frank, if you're out there.
Oh yeah,
We did a-
we'll get to that. Let's do the music thing first, and when I And then we'll come back to that question because that's going to take some time. And the people, once they hear the alarm, they want to hear the trading.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So,
Pavlov's
okay. You
dog.
want to do it here? Okay.
Yeah.
I
on now.
was. Let's do it. Okay. So we're gonna play
So
a blues.
just to be clear, we're doing 12, right?
yeah.
Sounds good to me.
All
Here
right,
we
guys,
go.
take it away.
All
Conversations.
right, let's do it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
That was super fun. Yeah, let me just a couple people. Eddie says, "Sounds great, fellas." Anna Cabrera is here, and he says, "Miss you
cool.
all, listening from Hollywood." Anthony Riva says, "Hello again from Puerto Rico," and Phil, like the regulars are here, and it's a good night. So thank you guys for that. So hey, let's go back to Joey, and we're going to ask the question. Carrie asked, "What is wrong with the clave in Toto's song Africa?" What did he say? Why is it wrong?
Yeah. You know, we were doing one of the few gigs that got to do this year is a gig with another fellow alum here, Chris Wabich. And him, along with Kerry Frank, we did a trio gig, a couple of trio gigs at a restaurant in Irvine. Very fine restaurant, by the way. And so we were just playing a bevy of different tunes, just medley, just calling off stuff. And so we started to play Africa. And so a little bit into it, you know, Chris starts to play, you know, and really, really, I mean, obviously strong. He played the clave and you know, he played it, you know, ba, 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 as a, you know, and absolutely no disrespect to Jeff Porcaro, you know, not at all. But just something that, you know, it was funny to have the conversation with him because, you know, a lot of people that have been in this music, saying the Latin music, you know, there's a lot of policing going on. And so it's about it's the argument of who's on the right side of the clave or the wrong side of the clave in relation to the orchestration and the arrangement of the tune. And so we would just play around with that the whole night, and so it was just a discussion that has been going on for decades, and
Well, can
you know what's right and what's wrong.
Can you explain briefly what clave is and it's important in the Cuban
Well,
music, Afro-Caribbean
I'd
music?
say for I don't know if I have the best answer, but I know for me, say for instance, if I'm listening to 2/3, I'm looking at the 2 side in the overall scheme as the tension part, and I'm looking at the 3 side as the resolution.
Can you
I'm
play
looking
it
at
so
it.
they know what you're talking about?
Yeah, so if I'm playing
explain,
one,
two, 3, and 3, 2.
yeah, well, 2/3. I mean, 2/3 is basically what. Let me say this again. 3/2 is basically was what a lot of people learn at first, especially beginners. So they learn because of that apparent downbeat. So that's easy. That's easy to really gravitate to. But when it's 2/3, that first beat is actually it's silent pause. It's a quarter note rest. So you come in later. But when you don't
1,
grow
2.
up and you're not used to that, it becomes it feels abnormal, feels unusual. So when I say, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. The fact that there is nothing happening at that beginning is already causing tension as it is. So it's easier for people to learn from the 3/2 side first. But I mean, I learned the opposite, and for me, it was how I heard music. It's
Now,
kind of still how I hear.
The importance of clave in Latin music. Now, Oscar, maybe you can talk about this from an arranger or composer standpoint when you're writing parts for horns, parts for the melodies, the rhythm, and everything. Can you just talk a little bit about how important it is, how it all ties together?
Well, just to be clear, clave is a 2-bar phrase, like he said. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2. So I'm hearing a delay here. It's kind of weird, Billy.
Yeah, you might be
So,
hearing.
So
hold on a second.
But if I were to give you an example of 2 Latin jazz songs, so if you have the song that I play, Green Downford Street, B. So B, 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 D, Z, da, da, da. Okay, so the delay is driving me
Yes.
crazy. So that would be an example of a melody that lays in 2/3. An example of a melody that lays in 3/2 would be Caravan. So this song, right? So B, B, dee, doo, 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 dee, doo, dee. Yeah, it's hard for me to do
Yeah,
it.
so here's what we're going to do is when
It's
we
hard
go,
for me
I'm gonna,
looking at the delay. So
I know, Oscar, what we're going to do is when I go to Joey again, I'm going to bump you off and you sign back in again. Sometimes that clears up that problem. So
Okay.
I'll wait till we get to Joey. I'll put Joey up on the screen. Well, let's see. Let me get to Joey here. I'm sorry. Because we're going to, there we go. Okay. We have a video you gave me, and you want to talk about that a little bit, the Sailor song?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Be happy to. Well, we have a local friend. She's a friend of all of ours, actually. Her name is Kelly Che, and she's a Korean singer, but she speaks fluent American English, and but she's for the last 8-10 years it's been something of a dream of hers to explore and sing, but combining. I think she met a mutual friend of ours named Eddie Resto, another great bass player, which you'll see on the video, and he has kind of molded her into and created some inspiration for her to draw her ancestry and implement it into the Cuban music, or whatever music that we're playing. But being that this is Cuban at the core, that she find a way that we can do a mashup of using Korean folk songs and playing to a mambo beat or whatever.
She's singing in Korean, right?
Yes. So you won't be able to translate right off the bat.
Yeah, I was listening to it the first time thinking, man, my Spanish is really bad. I didn't understand a word. But no, she's amazing. And this is a really cool clip. Let me play a minute of this, okay?
Blues.
Here we go.
부딪히는 파도 소리에 남잡을 깨우네 부딪히는 파도 소리에 남잡을 깨우면 들려오는 노젓는 소리 상쾌도 하구나 부딪히는 파도 소리에 남잡을 깨우면 들려오는 노젓는 소리 상쾌도 하구나 어기야디요 자 어기야디요 이 여자 뱃놀이가 잔다 어기야디요 자 어기야디요 이 여자 뱃놀이가 잔다 뱃놀이가 잔다 어기야디요 자 어기야디요 자 어기야디요 자
Yeah, I'm going to give it some
Yeah,
applause.
very nice.
So you're back, Oscar.
And by the way, on trumpet is the great Harry Kim,
Harry Kim.
Yeah.
and on piano, the amazing Joe Rotundi,
Yeah.
who
no,
are
that's a-
stalwarts in the Latin scene in
And,
LA.
and I just like how you put on a different outfit for each instrument. You got the sunglasses for the Wiro, you got the green bandana for the bata drums. That's pretty clever. And I missed
know, I
the
didn't-
beard.
you
I'm
know,
not
it was-
gonna lie, that beard is awesome.
It was it was like, this thing is here to stay, and I was like, I just said I let the beard go. I don't know, there was just a casualness about me that was just, I was going rogue, basically.
I get it. A
so.
year ago, I was bald. No, but I
Right.
had just gotten a haircut the week before Barmageddon happened.
got-
Oscar.
I got news for you. A year ago, I was bald too.
And Joey, you
What
were
happened to
playing
that
drum
thing you
set
had
on
on
that
top?
track, right?
Well, no, it's a timbal kit, so it has
Okay.
all the elements except on the bass drum. But I also play bata, and I incorporated that, the bongos. So yeah, I did all the percussion in there, and it was a treat. And actually, it was kind of my getting started to learn how to engineer. So it was a little grueling at first because I was really just like everybody, trying to grab videos here and there and asking questions here and being annoying.
Yeah, and I don't know if people out there understand that it's one thing to engineer and play, but then to worry about the video camera at the same time just adds another level
Right.
of stress. And everybody, we're all learning that because I don't think anybody I know out there, musicians, hasn't done some sort of remote recording thing that we videotaped. I just got called for a project at the end of the month. They want to do the same thing. They want us all to videotape the track. So that's great. And we have, let me do a couple of comments. Well, Anthony Rivas says Cuban Clave 2-3 ? I think he's asking if that is called Cuban Clave. Who wants to take that?
Well, there are two forms of it. We were playing more the son clave, which is more the, more the original. I guess what became as part of the formula for son music, which is salsa. So we did that. The clave, the rumba clave, is simply one note just being pushed to the edge, and that's occurring on the 3 side of the clave. So if you have, I'll just do a 3-2 Cuban clave, so we're all clear here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. As opposed to son clave, which is 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically the difference.
Yeah.
We use both. We have lavish lifestyles, man.
And going back to that, Dave Dirge said it was an interesting explanation of the clave, so thank you, Joey. And Dave Dirge is a drummer. He's coming in here
Dave.
pretty soon. I'm sorry I can't get to everybody's comments because I'm focusing on the interviews here. But I'm going to go back to Oscar right now. I mean, unless, Joe, you want to play something else for us. You got a little something else?
I'd like to play that piase if you had that audio.
Let me
that
put
this
on.
is
I'm going to put your face up on the screen. And if you'd like to do some interpretive dance, I think people would like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I just briefly talk about it. It's a we had one of our freedom riders pass away last year, John Lewis, and it was really, I don't know, for something it struck me. But I had gotten an idea from a friend earlier that week to compose something, put something together with a lot of energy and stuff like that. So I had started on this piece and started piecing stuff. But the day that John Lewis died, which was July 17th of 2020, I went to sleep that night knowing that I was going to go in the studio in the morning and I was going to be all day and I was going to put something together. And I finally did, but I reworked some stuff and I added some lyrics to it. And it's also dedicated. It's a story for my daughter for in the future for, when you're struggling. There's also the message to just keep marching on, and just be a good person no matter what. And that's it.
Okay.
It's more of a message. More of a message. Esta rumba es dedicada al señor John Lewis. And I also want to dedicate this song to my daughter, Lydia Sofia. Camínalo, muñeca. Lydia Sofía de León. Lydia, llanto de mi corazón. A ti te canto con sentimiento. Ay, mamacita, cosita linda. Con melodía y armonía es lo que me encuentro cada día. Lidia, Sofía de León. Vamos cocinando. ¿Qué es lo que pasa? Lidia, 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 Lidia Sofía de León. 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 Lidia, 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 Lidia Sofía de León. Llanto de mi corazón. Llanto de mi corazón. Llanto de mi corazón. Llanto de mi corazón. Lidia, 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 Lidia Sofía de León. ¡Cabum! Te lo dije.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that was very cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carlo says, "Yo, Joey." and Rochelle says, let's see what she says. She said, "Wow, I love that, Joey De Leon. Sounds amazing." And you also have, I got a question. Oh, it was Bronislaw Caper that wrote on Green Dolphin Street, and it was Joey that put that in the chat room while somebody else is playing. He's multitasking. That's great. So, but let's go to back to Oscar here. Now, Oscar, before we do this, if you want to play another piece, actually, yeah, your piano's distorting a little bit, so I just want to have you maybe turn it down the level in Logic, just a hair. It could be an internet connection thing, but it was just a little. But I have the other track, which is, let's see, it was your response to COVID #2, Romance Divino.
Yeah, this is. Damn, I'm hearing the delay again. I'm sorry.
It's let's do it.
So-
Let me go to Renee real quick, and I'm going to cut you out and have you just log back in again. Maybe that will fix it again. We're having an internet issue with you there, so. But let me go to Renee for a second.
Sure.
And let's see. Hi, Renee.
Hey.
We actually have a question for you.
Oh.
Eddie wants to know who has inspired you. Where'd your inspiration to play the bass come from?
Wow. Well, there are quite a few in different genres of music, but the short list for Latin music, obviously, Cachao, the great Bobby Rodriguez, also some contemporaries, including Eddie Resto, Tony Banda, a couple West Coast guys, Carlos Enriquez, Luquez Curtis, all amazing newcomers, in the scene and really killing it. Also, if you go into the R&B scene, I would say Chuck Rainey, Anthony Jackson, Marcus Miller, cats like that. And one guy actually two guys that actually cross those genres. One was back in the day, also played with Fania All Stars, played electric and was real instrumental in bringing the slap into Latin music, Sal Cuevas. And his contemporary is Ruben Rodriguez, who's kind of taken it into another level as well. And, I could go on with jazz guys and the whole thing, but that's basically for what I do here. That's what I'm thinking.
Cool. Do you want to play anything else for us?
Sure, I could play something.
Why don't you play something for us, Renee?
All right.
That's what give the people what they want.
Right on.
Yeah, Renee.
Very cool. A couple of shout-outs for all of you. Homero says, saludos, Renee.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Homero.
Homero.
Yeah, and he also says, Joey, amazing.
As always.
And then Carlos also says saludos to Oscar and Renee.
Cool.
So that
Right
was
on,
great.
brothers.
And Nancy, thank you for the tip. That was very, very generous of you. I put the up on the screen, and it's in the chat rooms if you guys want to help out. No amount is too small. Every bit is appreciated, especially in these lean times, as it were. So,
Help a brother.
so Oscar, let's see. Are we still delayed here?
Testing, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm still hearing the echo.
Okay.
I don't know why that is, but I wanted to mention 3 people who've passed away recently. And one of them passed away today. And those of us who are in the salsa scene and are in the know of who's who, this gentleman was a great conga player, well respected for the last 40 years as being one of the best at what he does. And he died last night, suddenly, unexpectedly. His name is Jimmy Morales. So our hearts go out to Jimmy and his family, and and hope that he's up there, in God's heaven, looking down and smiling at all the great influences that he left. Also want to mention, the great Chick Corea, who passed away about 2 weeks ago and broke my heart. He's somebody who's been in my life for 50 years. And the other gentleman who's been in my life about 50 years as well was Johnny Pacheco. So I got to work with Johnny many times in New York. I played in his band, and it's one of the best conjuntos ever in Latin music. Got to record with him also and witness his artistry up close. And I also got to have Chick Corea record on the Spanish Harlem Orchestra 5th CD. He played piano on my arrangement of You and the Night and the Music. And I don't think I'm going to talk anymore because the echo's driving me crazy.
Oh.
I don't know what's going on.
That is the hardest thing. I don't know why it's doing that on your end. It's strange that your audio is coming back to you
tough.
like that. So yes,
I mean, do I sound okay to you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're a little delayed from the video, but this is the internet world, and that's just the way it is sometimes.
Yeah,
So sorry
okay.
about that.
But yeah, I mean, those 3 gentlemen, maybe Joey and Renee want to jump in and say something, but
Renee?
Well, those guys were definitely major influences, in my musical career so far. I remember studying a lot of Chick Corea's music when I was in college. Of course, Pacheco was one of the most phenomenal, arrangers, composers, flute players. And I definitely always wanted to get a chance to see him live, and I finally did. I'd say about 15 years ago in New York, and just mind-blowing, And of course, Jimmy, one of the greatest guys that I ever met. Incredible musician, but an incredible soul. And all 3 of them are going to be deeply missed.
Cool. Joey, did you want to add anything? Oh, and I've lost Joey's audio. Oh, wait a second. Here we go. Sorry. Here you
You
go.
got me?
There we go.
I'll talk about Jimmy real quick. Poncho Sanchez came to a place called the King about 15 years ago. And Jimmy was in town, and Jimmy had just struck a deal with Remo with a signature line. At that time it was maybe almost 20 years ago, in fact. And he brought Jimmy to a place called the King, which was in Hollywood, and just I was star-studded. I was just stargazing, man. I was like, now this is somebody I've been listening to since 1981. And not because I was listening to it, but my mom was listening to the music that he was a part of, and so, but his style, and then to meet him, and then to see him come to NAMM every year, the last 15 years, was always just like when you see somebody coming at you at NAMM and you're just, oh man, this guy's like, rice and beans, man. Just like you can count on him. It just made you feel good. I just felt Puerto Rico inside him, man. And it just seeped into me. And I had a hard time this morning, receiving that news because it's just happened too much. I mean, just like Oscar said, another person that I grew up early influenced, Chick Corea. I mean, God, I'm just in awe of the massive amount of music he compiled and created for all of us. Johnny Pacheco, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about Johnny Pacheco, even if I'm not saying it, because that was the music that I grew up on.
Yeah.
You know, so pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, I will add one thing about Chick Corea. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but I played in a band that opened up for the Return to Forever reunion tour. And I wore those old Romantic Warrior, all those, the live album, the 4-record set. I had all that. And it was a real honor to meet Chick. And he would come and watch all of our sound checks. And then he would watch our show every night, you know. And it was just like the nicest guy. And I was also tour managing and playing at the same time. So I didn't have a lot of hang time. So I didn't get to hang out with him that much. But our keyboard player made good friends with him, and they'd hang out. And Chick was just a really generous cat. And of course, everybody on every instrument in the jazz world has been influenced by him.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to hear you say such nice things about your friends. And it's just sad they passed away. But I don't know where we go from there. If we should, if there's anybody you want to, well, Oscar, I hate to have you try to play if it's delayed in your headphones. Is your piano?
Yeah.
Very nice.
The delay is still in the back of my head.
You killed it. You killed it, no
Yeah,
matter
you're
what.
crushing it, and
But-
everybody's loving it out there. So, but this is a good night, and we have so much more we could talk about, but we think we covered a lot of ground. And does anybody want to? Again, Oscar, when are those 2 projects going to be coming out? Do you know when they're going to be released? Any ideas?
Well, the 2 projects, Spanish Harlem Orchestra,
And the
not
quintet.
sure we're going to record that. I'm going to New York to rehearse it. But the Latin Jazz Project is going to be recorded on May 6th and 7th here in LA. And haven't thought about the release aspect of these projects because with still the little bit of uncertainty with the pandemic, I have to make sure that I see it run its course to make a final decision.
Well, let me know when they come out, and I'll put it out in our newsletter so the people can follow that. If you just go to the website, you can get
Yeah.
on our mailing list. I don't spam you. Once a week, I send out an email about what's coming up, and if any of our artists have a new release, I put that in there as well, so you can kind of stay in tune with everything that's going on. But I think it might be time to say goodnight to everybody. I want to thank Joey, Oscar, and Renee for coming in. You guys were amazing. There's been some more comments. I encourage the guys to go look at the video comments and respond to everybody because there's some questions I couldn't get to quite yet. But
So I have a question.
oh, sure.
So will it be possible to do this and actually at some point play together?
Yeah, now that things seem to be going better in our direction, I want to eventually turn the talk show nights into where you guys come in the studio. And we actually
No, I'm saying remotely like this.
not with this system. The delay is so bad. You're hearing each other about a second or 2 late. So if
Talk to
you're playing with
Biden.
Joey,
Talk to Biden.
yeah. But I do want to do somewhere have you guys come in the studio, and it's still the talk show, but you can play with each other and that sort of stuff. We're getting closer to that, so that'll be fun.
Cool.
I just got to get a desk
Cool,
and a
and-
sofa. So
And if anybody has any questions, I guess, find a way to contact us.
Yeah, if you go to the website, we have a musicians page. It lists everybody, got their bios, has all their, their social media and, ways you can get a hold of them and that sort of thing. If you want to email me, Billy at LiveAtZeroBPM.com, I can forward messages to these guys and they can respond. So I just want to say thank you again to all of our regulars. Juliet just showed up. Hi, Juliet. And Susan is here. Rochelle, Phil, and Steve Durgan was here earlier. Micah Miller, she's going to become a regular, I can tell.
Micah.
Yeah, she actually says, Oscar, if you're playing that with delay, that's impressive. And she put, I think, 9 exclamation points after that. So that's really impressive.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard to explain unless you're hearing what I'm hearing. But
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I get it. So anyway, thank you guys. And I'd love to have you all back sometime, maybe to play in the studio soon. So we'll say goodnight. And I'm going to play the little outro video. Let me do the quick, this is the upcoming shows for all of you. This month is pretty good. Next week we have David Becker doing a one-man band solo thing that's really pretty cool. Then we have the Pat Kelly Trio, and he's coming with John Leftwich and Steve Haas.
Nice.
Then Brad Rabuchin's bringing a trio in, and that is with Larry Steen and David Dirge. And then we're going to have the Jazz Roundtable number 3 with Gary Meek, Sinclair Lott, and Carrie Frank, who's been in our chat room. Hey, Carrie. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I will say goodnight one more time. And thank you guys out there for listening. This also will be released as a podcast, and we are doing our launch Friday with episodes 1 and 2. So you can find us, the Jazz Roundtable, and I will send that out in the newsletter. So another good reason to sign up for the mailing list. And again, if you're watching this as an archive or anything, you can still tip. I make sure the money gets where it's supposed to go. So thank you, everybody who did tip. And I will see you guys later. Here is my outro. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us at Live at Zero BPM. These videos will be archived on YouTube and Facebook, so tell your friends. These Jazz Roundtable shows will also be released as a podcast, so please subscribe. Coming up on Thursday, March 18th, a special solo performance with David Becker, one-man band. Showtime, 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as always, it's free, though donations are greatly appreciated. Go to LiveAtZeroBPM.com for details and to sign up for our mailing list. Also, find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you soon.